You remember the peach trees?
Oh, absolutely,
Out the
because
front,
there's a freebie feed.
Yeah.
As soon as you go pick them and
Oh,
we'll
beautiful
sit in
peaches.
We used to sit in a row and wait for them, you know, and funny enough, they never used to get raided.
Yeah.
You know, like they were always heaps.
When we left Totoro school, you know, going to the media was like a big step. It was a huge school. It was like getting lost.
Yeah.
But it was good to know you had all your other Totoro mates that you were going with. You could all look for one another.
Yeah. So, what were one of your memories?
Well, the trips, especially that trip to Auckland, that was something that's I've always thought about, because, you know, we'd never been out of Totoro, and to be able to go to Auckland, and yeah, it was lovely. About, you know, teachers, our, you know, the favourite teachers, and you're talking about Mr. Creed. Yeah. But Mr. McPeak was a lovely teacher too. I really enjoyed being with him.
And Mrs. She taught
Of course,
us
he was a
New
fabulous principal for our school.
Give you the key in the boy.
You flick it.
And then you go flick your kids' ears on.
I remember, like, every morning we used to have talks, you know, and my talk was on elephants. And I did the elephant, was the African and the Indian elephant, and I compared the two of them, and he was at the back of the class and says, here we go, we've got another expert, can't concentrate on one thing.
This makes us look ancient too. No, not at all. Papa Joe and I were here yesterday. How many kids was going to the school then?
There was a huge
There was
roll,
lots, eh? There were
Yeah.
kids, there was lots of us.
Yeah. I remember there being 4 classes and full classes,
Yeah.
full classes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they were saying yesterday the roll, when they were up there, it was 200.
Wow.
And I think when we were here, it must have been 180 odd.
Yeah.
Wow.
But another exciting time I remember was the change of the currency. And we got to play shops in class. Well, we were all there.
1967.
Yes, 10th of July.
Yeah.
10th of July 1967.
Wow.
But for a couple of weeks before that, and months after that, if we were good, we got to play shops.
I think education back there seemed to be, you know, there was lots of hands-on.
Hands-on,
And a lot of outdoor education. Because I remember we learnt about, now, was it the Mexicans or some topic we did like that, and we actually made a bricks. Do you remember that? Having making up the bricks with clay and straw, and then pressing them and having them all drying around our big fires.
What I remember, one of our learning ones was on electricity, more so electricity because we didn't have it, eh? And that Mr. Creed was trying to teach us how alive electricity was, and he gave us a scenario, and somebody felled a tree and the tree landed on the power line pole and the pole fell over, and they fell over with it, and we had to go get them, you see. So we were all out there or in the class, and whoever touched the person or went close, he pushed them onto it, you know, because he tried to demonstrate that you were attracted and you were at it. You know, we were trying to figure out a way, because none of us could think of, you know, conductive energy and, you know, metal and body, and nobody thought to get a piece of wood.
Pine trees.
Nothing happened in the pine tree.
The whole fence line of the school was pine trees. They were a big part of us being at school. We used to get up to all sorts in the pine trees.
Yeah.
Climbing trees, I mean. Climbing them.
That's right, we had folk dancing as well,
Yeah, we had
eh?
folk dancing,
Right. And Mrs. McPeak strapped me for not being able to do the polka step. So I went home and I polkaed up and down the hill, up and down the hill. So that by the time I came back, I had it. But I remember getting the strap. I think I was working with Mediana, and I whispered something. It was either Mediana or Marianne, few. And I whispered something to you, and that was it. You couldn't whisper.
One day
We used to play a lot of table tennis.
Paddle tennis.
Paddle tennis.
Yeah, that's something
That
else that doesn't seem to be played these days.
No. The court was always full.
And they were good players, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, we were pretty good.
I remember doing, and I still can do it, the sticks.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I loved it. I loved the Māori culture and that. Was Mrs. Padley the only teacher for us for cultures there? She was, eh?
I mean, she taught it all, eh?
Yeah, even the boys in the haka.
Who played the piano?
Miss Anderson.
Was he?
Yeah.
Because one part there, she had to find the flat notes. And none of us knew. And we had to sing next to her. Next one! Oh, man. That was terrible. It wasn't me, but I'm flat all the time.
And you watched the big boys playing those hand games, you know?
Yes.
Hey, dumb the two dumb.
Yeah, you know, then what I ever see performing there is on Victory, the photo. Go to Moise and he's up there doing it.
Victory and Sunny Toad, last time at our last reunion in 2000. Oh, they were good.
Yeah, those horrible pills. Malt and what, cod liver oil
Cod
pills,
liver
eh?
oil,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah. And of course they'd always give you one and say, don't bite it. It just means bite it. Soon found out why they said don't bite it. Fingernail and hanky inspection?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, wrap
gosh.
around the knuckles and fingernails with me. Brush
Do
your
you
teeth.
remember getting your hanky and putting it on your desk and then putting it
Yeah. Kids sitting there with yellow crayon and going like this so we can get a turn to go to the dentist.
They were my best mates, so if they were in trouble, so was I.
We're all good. Yeah, we were good kids. Yeah.
Charlie and Nature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Andy.
Andy Cooper.
And when they had a tangi, the school was noticeably empty, or our class. But we got a few tellings off, and one of the things were we had to polish the hallway.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, with the polish.
Yeah.
We used to have the
Clean
do
the
the
school.
cleaning.
Yeah.
And I think that paid for all the stationery. We didn't have to buy stationery. Our stationery was free, but that's because all the kids did the cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was good fun, eh?
Yeah, because we used to, they had the guy going around with the machine or putting it on, and then we'd be behind him and
Yeah.
in front of him.
Sliding all over the
With the broom, you know, while somebody was trying to sit on it.
We all had duties, eh? You had either rubbish outside,
Yes.
remember the brooms, the hard brooms sweeping
Yes.
the concrete.
What's his name? Bob Ashby? The Ashby?
Bobby Ashby,
Bobby.
yeah.
Bobby Ashby,
Big
yeah.
Paul for the road.
Yeah.
He used to mow the lawns.
Yes, with that big huge
big
thing.
mower, yeah.
We know we've still got, we must have about half a dozen
Trophies.
or more of the old, we've got lots of trophies. Lots of those old trophies, but no, the rugby jerseys are still around.
Oh, is
Oh, really?
Right back from when we were here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why
And the
not?
other thing we've still got a couple of are the bodices, you know,
Oh,
the
from your culture.
culture uniforms that they had right in the middle. They had that sort
Oh,
of heart
yeah.
shape,
Yeah.
yeah, with TMS,
Yeah,
Kawhena
yeah.
Māori School.
Yeah.
I'd drive past here, go like come past Tackle School. I'd say to Mum, I used to go to school there. Yeah, I was school there.
Yeah, I was just explaining to my grandsons this morning, I'm going to the school there because we're going to have a bit of a corridor about our day. Did you go to that school, Mum? I said, yes, gosh, that school must be old.
Do you know, when you get into a group and you start talking about back then, you know what comes to mind for me? Is how many of them have passed on.
Yes.
You know? A lot of them have.
Yeah.
A lot of my classmates. The thing that really sticks with me is how the school came to our mum's hui.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that was on the 15th of March 1965, and yet I can visualise that day like it just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and the whole
school were there, and we were, Muddy and I were sitting this side.
Mari, didn't you hear me? I said my name was Mari.
My goodness,
Oh, well, I'm Mari then.
Mrs. Tenamgiri, for you. Oh, I got politically correct, my goodness. Yeah, Muddy and I were sitting this way, and I looked up and the first person that was ahead of the whole school was Auntie Media.
Yeah.
And you see, back then, I couldn't put two together that Mrs. Padley and Auntie Media is together. It was always Mrs. Padley, and she had all these children behind her, and it was just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And us as little kids, I would have been 6, 7, yeah, 6. Yeah. I was only a year old at the time. But the whole school was there. It was just so awesome, you know? And that thing stuck with me throughout.
Mm. And it wasn't until I actually left Tokoro that I started to learn more about the Māori side of things here, you know, like Rahiri, the story of Rahiri.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't until I really left them because people took it for granted. No, I took it for granted, you know, and I started learning those types of stories.
Yes, that's the thing, eh? We didn't learn that when we were
No.
It
It was
wasn't
just
deemed, I
assumed,
suppose,
yeah.
as so important. Whereas now we're actually at school studying it as
Yeah.
part of our
Yeah.
school curriculum.
Yeah.
I mean, when I left town, stayed in Auckland for 20 years, it was neither here nor there if I knew my whakapapa. And then I went to see him, or Jen. Jen started me off on our whakapapa, man. She gave me 3 names and she goes, on your own. And it took me the best part of 3 years, and all the time you could sit there with Dad and say, Dad, come on. You know? But it was choice, the research was excellent.
Most of you are related anyway.
Yeah.
And you just become close and just community minded.
Yeah.
So everything you do all together.
It was incredible how families supported other families around the community at different times.
Mm.